I'm always kind of excited about this notion that when we talk about education, we should refer to the Latin edu, which is to draw out. And so for young people, those wider experiences are about drawing out stuff that young people can capitalise on.
Young people learn very differently in the informal sort of setting we provide than they do in schools, so I think it's kind of paramount that we kind of give them the opportunity to learn, develop and have those development and skills that they achieve be recognised, to be honest. I think it's just as important as school sometimes, because school's not for everybody.
A big part of what we do at Aberdeen Foyer is as simple as working with them in education. So a lot of these young people, if they don't have the confidence to sit in a room with 20 other young people, or they don't feel like they engage well in education, we can take them and work alongside them. So if the kind of basic things like helping them get National 4 level kind of education, but then also working on resilience skills and helping them see that some learning kind of techniques don't work for everyone, and giving them the confidence to say, you know, I'm not defined by kind of education in a school setting.
Some young people do not, I would say, like, perform well in the education system we have right now. In an exam setting, you can have a young person not perform to his standard, but you can also take that same young person, take it outside of school, and they perform way, way beyond their even standard that you would expect them to. We, outside of school, find ways we can obviously connect with them, get in touch with them, and also find a way we can also give them qualifications outside of school.
The importance of awards is it's huge for young people. Like, a lot of our young people as well, they're maybe not achieving like your standard qualifications and stuff that you would get at school, but that doesn't mean to say that they're not achieving more broadly. Young people obviously learn in such different ways that I just think that the way that youth workers and youth work organisations run these kind of awards is just so beneficial for the young people, because it allows them to kind of see their own potential and reach their own potential, and maybe they're not getting that kind of encouragement at school.
I work with young people who don't feel confident enough to attend school very much. We work with some people who only go 2 or 3 days a week, but then they'll come to us and we'll work on these awards together, and the fact that that can go on a school certificate kind of blows their mind, because they're achieving the same as they would in school by just doing something they love.
We try to deliver youth awards through all of our programmes that we run. This just gives the young people just that kind of wee bit more flexibility in terms of setting their own targets, how they're going to achieve these targets, and it allows them to kind of keep track of their own kind of development and stuff like that as well. And it's sort of, their targets are kind of things that are maybe not necessarily not valued in other kind of educational places, but ones that are maybe not tracked as much. So the young people, it really gives the young people ownership over kind of their own learning and what they're doing and how they're achieving that.
I think one of the significant things for youth work is where we involve young people in not just the experience or a range of experiences, but we help them to understand what those experiences are doing in terms of their development as young people, kind of on that kind of pathway to kind of adulthood, in that sense of recognising the skills, knowledge and attributes they have and how they're growing.
So our young people at Connect Allo are really excited about the fact that we're going to be moving forward with awards more than we've had the capacity to recently. They're excited because they're getting recognition, and they're getting that in black and white in front of them. And the fact that it's not just what they can do educationally, it's what they can do as a person. Like I think that's what matters.
If these extra activities that young people are doing are recognised in higher education employability, that gives them such a greater chance to show I'm ready for a challenge. Exam results show something completely different. It's about if you can learn, if you can, sit and commit to that. But doing these outside activities, and if it's volunteer work or taking part in group work, it's showing I have social skills. Even I've committed to turning up for something. And I think in a lot of ways, being part of group work is so much more valuable. And if employers of universities acknowledge that, then it sets them off to kind of showing this is my potential and I'm ready for another challenge.
think most fundamentally, the achievement should be recorded, recognised primarily for the young person's benefit, first and foremost. And I think it can be done in a number of ways. It can be accredited, which I think is important, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be accredited sometimes. If it's something that the young person can actually place a value on and see a difference between where they were and where they're at, and they can then demonstrate that difference in however way they want to as an experience so that other people can see how that can be of advantage, then I think that in itself is really positive.
I think accreditation is a really important part of that, because I could give out a certificate that says thank you, but the fact that it's accreditation that's going to support them getting employment, it's going to support them moving into jobs, it's going to move them forward in a career to college and things like that. That accreditation is what can help a lot of them move forward in life.
It is a way of learning and getting experience. I think that can be so valuable if you can say that on a bit of paper, because going to college, you've got a kind of personal statement, and that's when you have the space to say, this is who I am as a person. It's all these things, it's not just exam results.
When a young person's ready to leave school, that there should be an opportunity there for it to not just say the grades they got and the hires and things like that, but also to say this is what you've achieved as an individual in all these different scopes, because a person is more than just the grades they achieve. A person is all these great things, and putting that all into one place where they can just see it in black and white, I think that would really push through that message to a lot of young people.
I would definitely support a certificate that would kind of cover all, be it standardised exams, or be it kind of, if it's for example a Dynamic Youth Award, Youth Achievement Award. So much work goes into them that I just think that it should be recognised kind of hand in hand with your more kind of standardised qualifications.
Youth Development Awards contribute to who they are. They're finding out who they are outside of school. If the young person's youth award can also be recognized on the SQA system on their certificate as well, so they can also, the schools can also look at that and also acknowledge that of their certificates. As I said, it's a part of their lives. The hard work they've put outside of school, it should also count for something towards their lives.
If we stay in a situation where we silo young people's experiences defined either by out of school or in school, then it's almost a sense that both parts of that actually aren't important to each other. So if it was just a case of taking formal education and a very narrow achievement kind of pathway in terms of young people having lots of knowledge in their heads, that's great. But the way in which we're now asking young people to deal with some of the key issues in their lives socially and globally, I think they need that range of skills in terms of resiliency, practice, to be able to actually work through that.
Definitely there's a place for kind of youth work settings within school. I've been a part of that in the past, and I know there is a lot more flexibility within schools now than when I was younger, so you can see the progress, but I think there's probably more opportunities for it as well that can be made with teachers and schools working together with youth work opportunities.
And I think youth work brings that element of actually exposing young people to that much wider range of how they use their brain, how they use their own kind of personal skills, and how they bring confidence to a situation which kind of helps them actually in those kind of issues and problems. For me, the young person is whole, and therefore those wider experiences should be capitalised and utilised as part of that ongoing assessment and self-assessment for that young person in terms of how they're developing and the skills that they have. So I think the challenge for us is actually how we take all of those experiences and we actually tie them together.